Tensions rise over U.S.-Taiwan relations. Recently, Chinese forces performed military drills in the area around Taiwan, encircling the island, and staged simulated strikes with fighter jets and vessels. The exercises were a direct reaction to the meeting between Taiwan's president, Ing-wen, and the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, a U.S. congressman. Furthermore, China vowed reprisals against Taiwan after the meeting between the House Speaker and the island's president, saying that the U.S. was on a wrong and dangerous road. Hello and welcome to another video of Finance Sense, where we cover all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. Before we start, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment below if you enjoyed watching this video, and turn on the notification bell to keep posted. The Chinese military carried out military drills in the region close to Taiwan, deploying aircraft, ships, and troops to various locations within the Taiwan Strait and the waterways around it. The purpose of the drills was to demonstrate China's superior military power over Taiwan and other countries. The exercises featured simulated strikes on critical locations in Taiwan and the waterways around the island, and the Chinese forces maintained a close presence around the island during the whole exercise. While the ground troops conducted training for multi-target precision attacks, the Air Force dispatched dozens of aircraft into the target airspace. After meeting with Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House of Representatives of the United States in California, the president of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen, voiced her opposition to the military drills. She committed to working with the United States and like-minded nations in the fight against authoritarian colonialism. According to a State Department official in Washington, the United States has been urging caution and maintaining the present state of affairs. But the U.S. is prepared and equipped to carry out its responsibilities for security in Asia. Although it is unclear if the United States will use force to defend Taiwan, Taipei has received American arms sales. During the exercises on April 10, actual bullets were fired into the water near the rocky coast of the province of Fujian in China. This area was around 190 kilometers from Taipei and approximately 80 kilometers south of Taiwan's Matsu Islands. According to Shi Yin, who works for the People's Liberation Army or PLA, these drills were intended to alert separatist parties in Taiwan pursuing independence and any other foreign forces supporting them. Yin said that the purpose of the exercises was to discourage provocative behavior. In recent months, the AFP has seen no evidence of increased military activity along the northern coast of Pingtan. This Chinese island is situated across the Taiwan Strait, where the actual military drills started on April 10. China views Taiwan as an extension of its own territory and intends to reclaim the island by whatever means necessary, including using military force. According to a recent report from Taiwan's defense ministry, 11 Chinese vessels and 70 aircraft have been spotted in the vicinity of the island. Moreover, 45 aircraft breached the demarcation line separating Taiwan and China's mainland. According to data provided by AFP, this was the largest number of arrivals seen so far this year. Around 150 Chinese vessels and planes were spotted over the weekend. This number includes fighter jets, drones, bombers, and transport planes. While Taiwan's armed forces are on high alert and ready to respond to any threats, they prefer to avoid further escalation of the conflict. In addition, an AFP reporter witnessed the launch of the Mirage 2000 fighter aircraft from the Hisinchu Air Force Base in northern Taiwan. Additionally, 3 vessels from Taiwan's elite amphibious reconnaissance and patrol unit were dispatched to the Matsu Islands to conduct patrols. The Chinese Communist Party, often known as the CCP, has reportedly been conducting military drills in the region surrounding the Taiwan Strait, as reported by Taiwan's Ministry of Defense. They also mentioned that the CCP had sent several ships and planes to the area. The exercises took place several hours after French President Emmanuel Macron departed Beijing. He traveled to China to ask Xi Jinping for help in ending the conflict in Ukraine. Furthermore, shortly after Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan in August last year, China demonstrated its military strength by deploying warships, missiles, and fighter planes above the island. After paying a visit to her last few diplomatic allies in Latin America, Tsai Ing-wen left for Taiwan on April 7. She made 2 stops in the US and spoke with Kevin McCarthy and other senators. Now, the United States is pledged to protect Taiwan against China's growing military aggression. This commitment has been reaffirmed 4 times by President Joe Biden. Some Americans believe that this commitment is foolish. Doug Bandow of the Cato Institute believes that the majority of American policymakers are prepared to risk national annihilation for Taiwan's sake. While this is happening, certain regions of Europe are hesitant to support Taiwan. Following his recent trip to China, French President Emmanuel Macron hinted that his country would not step in to protect the island. He declared that Europe's biggest danger is being involved in conflicts that don't concern us. Even if there is a low likelihood of European troops being involved in a fight concerning Taiwan, the stance taken by European politicians such as Macron is extremely important. This will affect how China evaluates the financial and diplomatic repercussions of any strike. If Europe and America did not have to worry about Taiwan, their lives would be much easier. On the other hand, China would set off a chain reaction of significant international events if it forcibly annexed Taiwan. There are 3 primary reasons why Taiwan should be defended. First, it has the implications for survival of democratic institutions throughout the globe. Second, it affects the balance of power around the world. And last but not least, it has an impact on economies all around the world. These justifications offer a compelling case against Beijing annexing Taiwan. According to the CCP, China is best governed under a one-party system. They contend that the US shouldn't promote democratic ideals since they have failed in the West and still undermine communitarian China. Taiwan, however, demonstrates that Chinese culture and democracy can coexist. But Taiwan shows another way China may be ruled in the future. Beijing has dashed Hong Kong's democratic ambitions. If Xi Jinping were to implement the same policies in Taiwan, autocracy would become deeply ingrained throughout the Chinese-speaking world. This would have had disastrous consequences considering China's status as a growing political force. People who are skeptical of the US's efforts to promote democracy probably won't approve of China's defense of autocracy either. Despite the fact that it is very unlikely that mainland China would ever adopt political freedom, the Indo-Pacific area is home to a number of democracies, including Japan, South Korea, and Australia. To some extent, these nations are dependent on the US for security guarantees. If China were to assume control of Taiwan, it would have a negative impact on the United States' dominance in the Indo-Pacific area. To avoid upsetting Beijing, other nations in the region will probably modify their policies in order to accommodate them. This would make it harder for China's neighbors to speak and act freely. Additionally, Chinese supremacy there would significantly impact the world because the area is home to 2/3 of the world's population and GDP. It is possible that China may overtake the United States as the most powerful nation as a result of this, and Europe will not be immune to the impacts. People may believe that ideas such as dominance are meaningless. However, given Taiwan's unique economic condition, control of the island would have a significant influence on the world's standard of living. Taiwan is responsible for producing more than 60% of the world's semiconductors and nearly 90% of the most advanced ones. From smartphones to vehicles to industrial equipment, these chips power the technologies we use on a daily basis. The factories that make these chips might be destroyed in the event of an invasion. There would be severe economic repercussions if China took control of Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing. According to economists, this would give China control of the world's most sophisticated transistors, giving them significant influence over the global economy. The US is aware of how hard it is to recreate Taiwan's semiconductor sector. As a result, analysts believe that the US and its allies must protect Taiwan for economic, geopolitical, and political reasons. Hi, we hope that watching this video was interesting and that you learned something valuable. If you enjoyed it, please hit the notification button, like, subscribe, and watch more of our videos. Also, don't forget to share your comments in the comment section below. This is Finance Sense, helping you stay current on all the most recent changes in the financial markets and economy. Stay safe and look out for the next video.